What's happening, boys? It's your main man, Daring. I'm back in with another sick vid, here to tell you about the time that I tripped off of weed. Yes, that is correct. Just a few fucking joints, and I was tripping. It was crazy. I basically had to stop smoking weed for a fair bit after this, because it was just fucking insane. Alright, let's get into it. So, at this point in my life, I was 16. I had just had like a really massive acid trip where I took like 10 tabs of acid and fucking MDMA and shit, like candy flipped, but it was just completely fucked after a while. Anyway, so I had just had that happen, and I basically was like still recovering from that. It was like 2 days afterwards, and you know, the first day I sort of like literally forgot how to talk. It was that sort of like fucking crazy. But yeah, so I went home to the place I was staying at. Yeah, so at this point I was staying in a share house with, this 32-year-old dude who was pretty cool. But yeah, went home. I had weed and coke at the time, and it was just a regular day for me, sort of at that point. Like, until this point, I'd been a pretty regular smoker, like a daily smoker. And yeah, so I just sort of sat back, chilled. It was the afternoon, and I think my sister was coming around. She was just coming to see us. And so I smoked some weed, and I did some coke, and at first, I didn't really know, like, what it was, if it was the combination of the coke and the weed or what, but I was, like, really sort of, like, out of it. Like, I don't know, it was almost like when you're coming up from, like, on acid or something like that, like, it wasn't, like, super visual, but it was just, I was sort of tripping, like, just that intoxicated feeling of tripping, like, sort of like DXM. Anyway, yeah, so she came over, and I didn't know what the fuck was going on, but I was just talking to her, and it was all pretty normal. It was pretty good at that point, like, it wasn't that intense. But yeah, so I had a good like conversation with her. I think we got food, we ate that, there was no problem. And then she left like a few hours later. So I was like, okay, well, I still got some weed, I still got some coke. I'm just gonna smoke a few joints and relax. Like, I wasn't even planning to do the coke at this point, but yeah, so I smoked one, and then another one, and then another joint, like 3 or 4 joints in, and I was like still not really super like tripping at this point. I was just sort of like looking to feel high, but I wasn't feeling high. So that's why I smoked another one and then another one, because I was like, why don't I feel high? I just feel weird. So I did that, and then I was sitting on the lounge at this point, and then it just hit me like crazily. I was just completely out of my mind, like forgot everything. I just felt like I was like spinning in just nothingness. And like I couldn't move. I was just like slumped on the chair, like just eyes wide, fucking looking like, what the fuck? Yeah, so I got up to like try and fucking just move or something, just get out of this situation, and I just couldn't. Like, I got up, I took like a few steps, and then bam, I just forgot everything. Like, it was pretty fucked. But yeah, so I moved over to my bed slowly but surely, like every 5 seconds stopping. And I was sort of like trying just to relax there, just sit down and calm down. But like it was just sort of impossible, because I didn't even really recognize anything for those split seconds where I would just phase out. And I sort of, at one point, I'd just look, like I'd sort of come back to my senses, and I just look in my room, and the entire room just like does a wave, like just like the room was a wave, like it just fucking bends and curves and shit, and then the entire room just starts spinning like horizontally. So it was like pretty crazy. But yeah, so I'm sitting there for a while, still like freaking out, and then I figure, okay, I gotta just get a drink. You know, I don't know why, but at this point I thought, I'm thirsty, I need a drink. Like maybe that will help me calm down. So again, I'm trying to fucking walk into the kitchen to the fridge, and like every step, I would just space completely out, forget everything, just stand there like in terror, and then come back to it, take like another 2 steps, and then just disappear again. Yeah, but eventually I got to the fridge. I got the, can of drink or whatever it was, had that, and I made it all the way back to my room, and I was just sitting there drinking. I was still like fucked up, and I was thinking, okay, well, this is weed. I should be not high in like an hour or 2 hours max from this, so it's not going to be like a full 12-hour trip or anything like that. So yeah, and for some stupid reason, I remembered I had the coke there, and I thought, well, this is like a bad trip. Maybe if I did the coke, I would feel euphoria and I could turn it into a good trip. So I start doing lines of coke, and I go through like, I don't know how much I had. It was probably 2 grams or something like that, but I go through the full 2 grams, just fucking in between fucking not remembering anything, just doing lines. And yeah, it didn't help, but eventually I came down, things pretty much went back to normal, and yeah, it was safe to say I didn't smoke weed for a fair while after that. I literally put a note in my phone, don't smoke weed, because I kept doing it and tripping the fuck out, and then going, oh, I'll smoke weed again today. So yeah, that's the story, guys. If you liked it, leave a like. If you didn't, don't. Leave a comment about your experiences, if this has happened to you, because I haven't heard many people talking about tripping on weed, but it definitely happened to me, and I was a daily smoker, like, at least. I used to do fucking edibles all the time, so I had a good tolerance. Anyway, yeah, I'll see you guys.